Yes, this is the biggest week this Ireland squad have faced so far under their head coach, Andy Farrell, as they bid to qualify for a Rugby World Cup semi-final at this stadium behind me for the first time in their history. What a match we have in store on Saturday night at the Stade de France. Ireland, the number one ranked side in the world, against the iconic All Blacks, who have won this competition on 3 separate occasions. The big talking point heading into this week was Ireland's injury list, which looked pretty long earlier on this week. But the good news for Andy Farrell, he's been able to name an unchanged side. So Mac Hansen and James Lowe, they're both past fit. The only bad news is James Ryan, the second row. He picks up a wrist injury in the victory over Scotland. He went to see a specialist earlier this week. He may be in contention, though, for the semi-final next week, but that's a massive if, because Ireland have to get there first, and we know their record when it comes to this tournament. They've played in 7 Rugby World Cup quarter-finals up until this point. They've lost all 7. No side have been dumped out at the last 8 stage more than Ireland. But speaking to their captain, Johnny Sexton, and head coach Andy Farrell earlier today, they're not worried too much about their previous failures at the Rugby World Cup.
I don't think we think too much about it, because it's just about the here and now, and what's gone on in the past is irrelevant to us this week. We're just trying to get better as a team, and so are they, and rolling in the competition. So I suppose what would be at the forefront, hopefully, of both teams is the mutual respect of where both teams are sitting right now, but at the same time, the competition is where it should be for a quarter-final. I'm sure about that.
Trying to win a World Cup, it's something to go and get. It's not something that puts pressure on me. It's something that you dream of, probably not as a kid, because when we were kids we didn't dream of Ireland winning a World Cup, where I suppose we put ourselves in a position now to go and do that. But it's something to go and get. It's not something to be pressured about, and I haven't thought about my own career, to be honest. I'll think about it more when I finish.
Yeah, Ireland's last Rugby World Cup defeat did come against the All Blacks 4 years ago in Tokyo. It was their heaviest ever loss at a Rugby World Cup. They went down 46 points to 14, and that marked the end to Joe Schmidt's tenure as Ireland head coach. He led them to world number one ranked side. He led them to a Grand Slam as well, but they just ran out of steam at the wrong time. But fast forward 4 years, and he's now in the All Blacks camp. He's working as an attack coach for them, looking to mastermind a victory over Ireland this weekend. And Johnny Sexton has been speaking about coming up against a man who knows this Ireland squad so well, having coached 15 of the current members of this squad.
Joe knows us well. We know him well, but Joe doesn't get to make any tackles or run any lines at the weekend, so we just have to worry about the players we're playing against, and not too much about him. But the legacy he left in Irish rugby is massive. His record here is outstanding, so we'll look forward to having a beer with him after the game.
So New Zealand are actually the last side to beat Ireland in a test match. That came last summer, but since then Ireland have won their last 17 test matches, and if they win this weekend the Stade de France, they'll move level with the All Blacks record of 18, but they'll be hoping to go 1 or 2 steps further as they bid to win the Rugby World Cup for the first time in their history. But up next, it is the All Blacks here on Saturday. Andy Farrell's named an unchanged team. Let's head down to Marseille, where Ellen Roper has been with the England side.
Thank you, James, and welcome to the south of France. We're at the port in Marseille, which is going to be packed out with rugby fans this weekend. We were here at the start of the World Cup because this is where England kicked off their campaign against Argentina. It was packed with white shirts. I'm expecting the same this weekend. Both Wales and England play in Marseille this weekend, and the fans, you can see, are already starting to arrive here. England 4 from 4 so far. Still questions about performances, about selection, but they are through to the knockout stages and they will take on Fiji this Sunday. Now, we've been with the England camp today. We've been watching them train at their new base, boiling hot, and their toughest fitness training of the week on the Wednesday when they play on the Sunday. So a definite tough day of work for them. We've also been hearing from Jamie George as he looks ahead to this weekend's game, hearing from him about what it's like to play in a big test week like this where the stakes are so high. He says it's important not to hide from the emotion. If you're nervous, that's fine, not to fight it. And here's what he's been saying about building up to a big game like this.
We've had a really good, open, honest review. We were very clear that some of the stuff wasn't good enough. Our energy levels were poor, and that's probably inexcusable, to be completely honest. Would we rather it happen then than now? Yes. Are we going to learn from it? Absolutely.
So England scraped a win past Samoa, but lots of questions about that performance. They were far from their best. It's also obviously led to further speculation about whether Borthwick will stick with Ford at 10 or whether Farrell will captain the side from 10. We won't be hearing from the England camp tomorrow. They're having a day away from any press, but we'll be back with the side on Friday when Steve Borthwick will sit alongside his England captain and name his side for their World Cup quarter-final. That's this Sunday here in Marseille.